Good afternoon, APCS students. This is Mr. Aaron. I'm just going to go over a few things about this adhesive course. By the way, the shell that we're using is actually a Canvas course, so you might find that it looks a lot like what you see in the Anchorage School District. They are not tied though. This is a separate Canvas course from what you have in the Anchorage School District. So if you click on courses, you'll see that you only have the one course available to you. You can click on it, and then modules should appear. And basically, I've already done some of my modules. I'm logged in here as a student, and once I've completed them, I get a little check mark there, and I have to complete all the items in order to continue. You can basically see that if it depends on how intricate you want to go. You can watch the video. I do suggest watching all these videos. This is Miss Dovey. She's excellent. She goes over all the information you'll ever need. There's a lot of other links here. You don't necessarily have to download the course syllabus, but I would do it if I were you. This is the syllabus that's provided by Edhesive. I gave you mine already. Then it gives you some other tidbits of information there. So I'm going to go back to modules now, and like I said, once you start going through, you'll see these check marks start to appear, and right down here you see that I've gotten through to this point here, and now I have a red little circle there. It means I can't go on any further. These are grayed out, so I can't do any of those things. So basically what I have to do is just do these all in order, and once I've done them in order, then they start to gradually turn green. You can check your grades by clicking up there, and it shows you basically what I see in a little different view, but these numbers here will start to fill in. I don't know that it tells you, it tells me, I don't know exactly what it's going to show you. I see something different, and I weight them a little bit differently, a little bit more in your favor than Edhesive does, so these might not be totally accurate. If you want to see your overall grade, you can check Q, but it's a lot of work for me to transfer grades from Edhesive into Q, so I don't do it every day, I guess is my point. I wait until I have a clear brain and a clear mind and a bit of time so that I can get all the grades in here transferred accurately, because you can see just how many there are, and you make one little mistake and it can just be not fun. So that you notice that everything's due at midnight. Let's see, what else was there? Oh, if you have any questions, you can go onto the student forum. The student forum is really useful. I have a teacher forum that I use. You can go onto the student forum. I think you have to fill out a couple things. Yeah, you have to make a Piazza password and agree and everything. But then you can ask questions. You can't ask questions like, hey, what's the answer to number 3? Because this is red, and it goes to, I think I even see your questions. And so you got to just ask questions that aren't going to be directly related to that question itself. You can ask some general questions though. You'd be surprised what sort of things you can learn just by asking questions in the Piazza. I think that's how that's pronounced. So, oh, the other thing is I'm going to click on the calendar. The calendar is kind of fluid a little bit. I started putting things in here, and you can see exactly when things are due. And click on the next one here. And it looks like, holy cow, there's like a ton of things going on here. But you've gone through a couple of these already, and you should know that these lessons go super fast. Some of them are just have like a couple questions and you're done. And then you read a couple questions here and you're done. So you can go through these things super fast. But you can also see that there's something to do just about every single day. Now keep in mind that, for example, this one, lesson 2, is due tomorrow by midnight. You do have time after school, obviously, to work on it, but I would try to get 1 or even 2 days in advance. Try to always work ahead of the schedule. In fact, the further ahead you are, the better. If you can get like 1 or 2 weeks ahead, that's fine. But at least work at least a couple days in advance, because some of these things were like the assignment here, this one here is the movie ratings one, is that might take you a little bit of time to do. So you want to make sure that you don't start on it on the 12th. Make sure you start, oops, make sure you start on that on like the 11th or even the 10th or something like that. And on the quizzes, I try to, and the quizzes and exams, you notice, I try to make that the only thing that's due right there. I can't always do that. I think I may have been actually pretty successful this year, but what my reasoning for that is that I want you to be ready and careful and just take the quiz and not have to worry about anything else that's going on. Make sure that you've done up to lesson 9, review your stuff, and then get ready and take the quiz. Remember, the quizzes and the exams like this one down here are worth a lot of points. Oops, keep doing that. Okay, so let me go back to my course here and show you kind of what I do. Whoops, I guess I should just go to modules. And I'm ready to start my first lesson. And this is kind of slow, so you kind of just have to be patient here. I think, is this it? The very first one? Okay, yeah. So I'm going to watch Miss Dovey, give her a little speech there. Like I said, she does an excellent job in showing us all this stuff. And then you have a Java starter file. And these are kind of everything that you're going to learn are in these PDFs here. So usually what I tell students, and I think that's about it. Yeah. So what I tell students is download this and save it in a folder. And I just name mine lessons. You can name it whatever you want. And then you also have these lesson PDFs. And I save these too because I like to refer back to them. And I take notes using these. So just right click on it and then save link as. And then just make sure you're actually grabbing the PDF. I think I already actually put it in here. Let's see, I have a lot of stuff. Yeah, here's my lesson PDF. Yeah, see, I already have this one. This is term 1, lesson 1, output in Java. So you can always go back and read it. That's really handy to know. So when you look at these things here, I always like to refer back to these because it really does show you exactly what it is that you've learned. Oops. And it's just an easy way to kind of like jog your memory about how to do a system out print. Not all of it, see, not all of it's real important, but that's why I usually pick out the 1 or 2 things that are important, and I highlight and copy it, and then I put them into a Google Doc, and I started telling that, I have like chapter or lesson 1, lesson 2, lesson 3, and just the important things that I've learned. I don't need to keep track of all this stuff because, I don't need to remember this. Really don't need to remember that. Don't need to remember that. Really don't need to remember that. I can get that. So really there's only one thing in this whole lesson that I need to remember. It's just this. So like I said, I've been making a Google Doc with just the important stuff in there. And then I also like to have my lessons right in here. Here's my little template. So I'll start by downloading that, kind of getting it up and running right here. Here it is. And then I watch Miss Dovey for a little bit and then figure out what it is that they want me to do. And here it is. I can compile it, run it. If I did everything right, oops, run it. There it is. Hello world. I can't remember exactly what she wanted me to do, but anyway, then I go on to the next one. Right there and there. And I take the quiz. The quiz is just going to be a short little question and answer thing. And once I get that done, you just click submit quiz. I wonder though, I think what you can do, let me go back out without clicking submit. Let's see if it's like it is at school here. I think it is. So if I go here, yes, I can click resume quiz. And the reason why I can resume my quiz, I hope they do this the entire thing, is because I did not click submit. So I can answer the questions and then get out of it. It clicks OK. So I clicked on letters. And I'm going to go back in here. I can resume it. Yeah, so it saves it for me anyway. So hopefully that's the way it works for you. I'm pretty sure it will. And like I said, once you click submit, then that's it. Now that is not the same as with a quiz or an exam. So make sure that you're ready. You take the whole thing, you submit your answers, and then you're off and running. Keep in mind, the exams are on your own, except for the final exams. But academic integrity is paramount. I know I've told you guys this before in my syllabus, but my expectation is that you don't have another thing open and you're just Googling answers. I know it's totally possible, and I realize that this day and age, Google is like everything, but using any social media or Google anything like that is absolutely strictly forbidden. And besides, you don't want to go off to college and tell your professor, yeah, I took a Java class. I didn't learn anything because I Googled everything, but I did take one and I got an A. But well, first of all, it'd be hard to get an A even if you did Google things. But my expectation is that you not rely on outside sources. My expectation is that you have this stuff memorized and that you can just do it all on your own. One way to do that is that when they start doing things like this and they give you the lesson, what I would recommend that you do is just open up a new one and see if you can type it in just from memory. All this stuff. Of course, you don't need this, right? Those are just comments. But just remember that import Java IO and then the little splat right there. Import static Java. You may not know what these mean yet, and they do go over them much later. The import Java util scanner. They go over all this stuff later, and the class. But just see if you can do it here just from memory. Okay, and then like I said, they give you this a lot of times, but see if you can start to do it from memory, even from the very first beginning thing. The other thing I want you to do is some of these programs, I want you to write them out in pencil and paper. Now, I know you're going to get a lot of it wrong. You're going to miss curly brackets. You're going to miss the void statements. You're going to miss bits and pieces, and I understand that. But on the AP exam, they actually have you write a couple lines of code, and it's difficult code, with paper and pencil. Now, if you misspell something, they might not take off if you forget the little splat there, or if that you I don't know, you miss one little thing, you misspell the word import, I don't know. They don't take off for small mistakes, but if you forget this line altogether, they would take off something like that. So just knowing to put that in is very important. You have to have, of course, the class file or the class statement right here. So, but it's very important that you can code with pencil and paper in order to pass that AP exam. Okay, well, I think that's about all I'm going to cover right now. I think that about covers it. So good luck, everybody, and get to coding.